Did you ever expect to reach people of outside of the community, outside of the adoptee community, who might gain something from your writing?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I did. And I'm so glad that other people can get something out of it. I truly just felt like, as an adoptee, like I knew there were so many who couldn't find their families, specifically Colombian adoptees. And I thought, well, maybe they can live vicariously through this situation and see like what it might have looked like. And so that was like the main reason for me to do it. And then on top of that, just it being like cathartic for me to get it all out because it was just so much for me to contain. Like, especially when I came
Yeah.
back to the United States after going to Colombia, I felt so weird because it was like I just had this life-changing, transformational, huge experience, and everyone else is just going about business as usual. Like no one knows what just happened over there, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing to just seem to like fill that like a void. I don't know if that's what I would call it anymore. It just kind of was like life just felt deeper after that, Like so yeah. Yeah, and I would say like that's continued on. Like I've continued to grow and evolve ever since. Almost to the point where like I really feel like the prize in life is that like internal peace and that being able to like reclaim ourselves. Because yeah, like no person, no material item outside of me can fulfill me. And I've had to learn that the hard way, you know? Um, so yeah excuses, but I finally got to the point, and it took so long. And it's, with the people pleasing, and it wasn't just her. I mean, I think I got to a point where everyone in my life, I had to kind of just take a step back and look at every relationship and say, which relationships are actually reciprocal and how much am I overgiving just for the sake of not being left alone? And it was crazy how many people actually, if not most, or if not all, like everyone, I was just bending over backwards to fit in all these different molds to please everyone. And it came from that fear of being alone. And then I really in the what ended up happening is me abandoning myself in doing that. And I finally had to just drop everything and go back within and like do more inner work. And I'm happy to say I'm finally at a place where I know what it's like to be completely alone and feel completely abandoned, which, of course, I always have my parents. I'm so grateful. But like even on an emotional level, I mean, at the end of the day, no one knows like the depths that we've all had to go through as individuals with whatever experiences that we have, except for us, you know? So it's like I really have found a way to like fill my own cup in that way instead of reaching outwards to external validation or, vices or whatever it is to keep me like in a certain way. Um, so I will say like I'm really proud of that and like I've like reclaimed myself and now I'm so much better at like not saying yes when my insides are saying no and like I'm just really honoring
Yeah.
myself and my spirit after almost 35 years of being a people pleaser. So it is
Yeah.
possible, guys. It is possible.
It's authenticity that comes up, right? Where you've
Yes.
um, it's very hard to get to that point for any human being, I imagine, and especially somebody who
Really.
carries the wound of abandonment and wants so desperately to keep people in their lives and will
Yes.
do just about anything for that. I can relate to that very deeply.
Yes, God, yes. And with the authenticity, like I actually have a poster right here that says authenticity over everything. That's what I've learned is like I have to be able to show up in this world authentic because when I wasn't, I was just my soul was just over time just getting so suppressed. And I was like, God, like if I can't even just be me, then what's the point? What's the point? Like I have to be able to just be me. And so yeah, maybe I've even gone to like too far of the opposite extreme where I'm so authentic and so real that it might even be a little off-putting sometimes. But it's all part of me like reclaiming my truth, reclaiming myself, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that's been a huge part of my journey.
You wrote a second book as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. Okay, so it's called Squirrel's Big Question. It looks like this. It's a children's book, and it is about a squirrel who's adopted by some birds. He loses his mom, and the bulldozers cut down the trees, and so it kind of starts a little bit morbid. But I kind of also wanted to keep it like, you know, real in the sense that, adoptee stories are not always, sunshine and rainbows. And so sometimes, that it does like we kind of start off with a lot of sadness at the beginning of our lives, and even when I found my birth mom, I asked her about my birth, and she told me they didn't even tell her if she had a boy or a girl. They took me away immediately, and they wouldn't even tell her. And so, finding these types of things out, I mean, it is, that's intense. So, yeah, so Squirrel's a question. He's adopted by some birds and he's just kind of living his life. I'll show you a couple pictures. They're celebrating his birthday and he just feels like, he's just a son to these happy parents who love him, doesn't really think twice about it until he goes to school. And let's see if I can find that picture. He goes to school and his fellow classmates are like, okay, yeah. They're like, why are your parents birds? And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
or why don't you look like your parents? And
Right.
he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I never really even thought about that before. And so then he starts kind of going with it and questioning things and questioning, are there other squirrels like me? And so as he gets older, once he graduates school, he decides to go on a journey to another forest and he finds some squirrel friends and they teach him about squirrel life. And then he comes back and he feels like more himself, kind of like he reclaimed himself. It doesn't matter if he's a was raised by birds or if he's from a squirrel, it really doesn't matter. And I've had to learn the same thing. It doesn't matter if I'm Colombian, it doesn't matter if I'm American. Like at the end of the day, I'm me. I'm me. Like whoever that is, and that's my spirit. Like I don't even care about the labels. And yeah, so it's kind of like that. And then it does end with like a little guided meditation, which just helps the kids go within and find like a home within and yeah